Back on the edge with BJ APB um on the life of a gangster conclusion rundown of his mini doc audio autobiography. So you back on the line with us, loved one. You can finish it up.
Yeah, peace and blessings to everybody that tuned in. Thank y'all for listening to the stories, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Before I start, I want y'all to know that if I say anything to offend anybody, I apologize now. You know, when I tell these stories, I'm telling them in the mind frame that I was in at the time of the story. So don't never take nothing personal, because I'm not the same person no more. These stories are how I was then. So as I entered the blood module, facing a life sentence, I had met homie Half Pint, Big Half Pint from NHP, and the homie Soldier Boy from Bonnie Hunters. And what attracted my attention to them was they both was the two littlest dudes in the module, but had the biggest hearts. And what linked me to Half Pipe was I liked his walk. He had a cold little bell on him, and his bell was so cold it reminded me back when I was in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii with a dude named Jack Moo from Raymond. Jack Moo had the hardest walk in the Hawaii. Nobody else could top you. The only person came close to him was Tato from Great Street. But anyway, you know, I used to walk up and down the module. The module had a lot of, as you would say, future legends in there. You know, it was a lot of homies that had already made their names, like their names was ringing in all the blood hoods, and then you had some homies, this was their first time in the county jail. They was just getting started, and this was their first experience of
three-way call alert.
What jail was like. And being up in that county, things was real intricate for a homie. And going to the blood module, one of the reasons we used to go to the blood module was the phone used to stay on all night. It's just the phone stayed on all night. It gave you enough time to handle your personal business, like keep family ties going, being able to contact your lawyer at any time and work on your case and so forth. So in this module, a lot of things used to happen over the phones, because sometimes you had homies would get drunk and just jump up and start screaming. And, you know, now I realize that a lot of homies didn't mean no harm. It's just that when you fighting them life sentences, man, you go through something. And a lot of outbursts that was done in that module, people was not knowing how to deal with the time they was facing. So sometimes, you know, you'd jump up and see a whole cell squad, and everybody in the cell just having to rock 'em, sock 'em more. Everybody just sitting there socking on each other. And the next day, everybody come out on chill with black eyes. And then you had some homies, they outlet was rapping. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There was some homies in there, man, that was some cold rappers and came up with some cold songs. But the hurtful thing was, I hated seeing them homies go home and don't do nothing with the rap game. You know, you had homies like, for an example, you had Hooper Rock from Villain, Bloodstone Villain. He was a hell of a rapper. Rob Dog from Peblos. You had Big Stretch from Bonnie Hunters that was rapping. You had Smoke from Bonnie Hunters that was rapping. You had the homie Sneak from the Millers that was rapping. PT.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You had the homie J-Ball from Answers that rapped. Hot Link that rapped. You had who else? You had Tiny Low from NHP that was rapping. You had Lil Wack from Villain that was rapping. You know, then you had some of the OGs that couldn't rap, but they would always kick it off with the OG Blood module rap. Then you had Big Hub from 8-9 Family Swan. Big Hub was a prolific singer. And Big Hub, him and the homie Big Babaloo, they used to get on the mic, boy, and they'd sing us to death. I'm talking about having everybody stressing. You know, couldn't nobody, and I mean, to this day, I don't really know nobody that could out-sing them two dudes. Them dudes should have been in groups like the Ozzy Brothers or the Dramatics. That's how good they was. Hub had the Barry White voice. And Big Hub used to always kick off the raps with, to the east side, to the west side, and we banging Family Swans, come on. And everybody just get to getting under bars and just get to cheerlead, you know, and then you had you had just a gang of different rappers in there, man. I'm talking about, then you had the homie Dog from Elm Street. Now, Dog was a cold rapper. Dog, I'm talking about, he's another dude that, if he would have been on death row at the time, he would have been there, you know, damn near shaming Tupac. That's how good the dude was. You know, then you had my homie Lil Fila. He came through, him and Robo from Blackstone, Big Robo. They both was classic rappers, you know. Like I said, the module was full of talent, man. And the thing about the module was, we all was in there, nobody knew how to take out their stress. And a lot of times I worked on my stress by going down the tier. And I used to hang out with the homie Dulo from NHP and Half Pint. Them, I go down there, hang out with them. Then I go hang out with the Blackstones. I just go cell to cell, stopping and talking to all the homies. And one of the cells I used to go hang out with, I used to mainly go hang out with the Brims because I grew up like messing with the Brims. And at the time, my big homie Big Rich was in there from 6 Deuce Brim, and then the homie Two Boo from 6 Deuce, and the homie Big Lowdown from 6 Deuce was in there. Me and Lowdown, we've been knowing each other since we were like 12 or 13 years old from Junior Hall, so this is my boy. So me and him used to hang out every day and talk and do push-ups together and talk about our future on the streets. And I remember when Lowdown had got convicted and went to the pen, he used to tell me about his sons. You know, he used to show me pictures of his kids. And it's crazy how years later, his kids then grew up, and I be hearing about one of his sons now, and I haven't got to meet him yet, but I will one day. But after the module, I was going back and forth to court, and finally I got convicted. They ended up giving me 46 to life. And I'm going to say this, you know, for all those that don't know, you know, it's two things that happen in a lifetime that really scar you. And one of those things is, it's a difference between seeing somebody in the casket and seeing somebody dead on the ground. And when you see somebody that you was just kicking it with not even 5 minutes ago, dead, not moving and bleeding everywhere, it does something to you. And in honesty, I knew when I pulled the trigger on this case that I messed up. It just didn't feel right. Out of all the times I've been shooting at people all my life and doing all type of stuff, this time when I pulled the trigger, it was like a part of me left with the person that died. I didn't understand the significance of that. It's kind of hard to explain. Unless you ended up getting life yourself, you would understand what I'm saying. But at that time, at that moment, leaving that scene, it just didn't feel right. You just could feel something was going to go wrong other than what just happened, what took place. And what ended up going wrong was me coming to jail and getting a life sentence. And the whole time I was fighting life, all I thought about was I gave a promise to my homie Pops when he used to write us and call the neighborhood from the pen. He used to.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He used to tell all of us that he had a hand in raising, you know, my homie Psycho Mouse, his daddy had a hand in raising me. And his daddy used to always tell us, like, you know, when we actually do need something in the pen, he used to be like, man, I'm writing my book right now. I'm going to send my book out there. And y'all just look out for my boys, man. He was like, my boys claiming the hood now, just look out for them. So I hung around his sons every day without his sons knowing that this was one of the reasons I started hanging with him. And when he got killed, I felt like I broke my promise to his daddy, because his daddy took care of me on the streets, and here it is, I couldn't take care of his son. I took my eyes off of him, you know, and things happened. So that's why
You have 60 seconds remaining.
it triggered something in me to do what I done. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Right. Hey, I appreciate the homeboy coming on here, running down his mini doc, because you don't get a lot of homies that's behind the walls, homie. We don't get to hear about a lot of their cases, homie. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like play by play, if everybody been catching it, homie. And it's real deep, homie. You know, when a homie tell it, us that been banging, homie, we can feel it, homie. You know, we can feel it. Those of us that, you know, had to get out here and endure the fields, homie. You know what I'm saying? We can feel the pain of it, homie. When you lose a loved one, homie, you be mad, homie, and we all, you know, and we just strike out, man. We don't know who gonna make it, who gonna come back. It's a culture, homie. It's a hell of a culture, homie. Salute to everybody that's tapping in, homie. Salute to everybody tapping in, homie. Yeah, homie, it's something crazy, homie. I done had homies that pass, and they family be feeling like retaliation to sue them. And once they know serious retaliation happen, it shambles their world, homie. You know, when lives getting missing out here, homie.
Welcome to Link.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm back. Hey.
Yeah, we back on with you, homie.
All right. So, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to paint the picture of what it feels like to get a life sentence. When you go to court and you face a life, everybody treating you like a celebrity. Everybody act like they love you. But the day when the verdict come back at Compton Court, if they feel that you're going to do something wrong, they don't show you no sign of they think you're going to do something wrong. Sometime they come in there and they put a chastity belt on you. And the chastity belt is like a belt. It's like a pair of drawers they put on you. They have you to put them on. And when you put these drawers on, they got a button on their hip. The bailiffs keep it on their hip. And what they do is they dress you in your own street clothes and make it look like you free, when really you not you, right? You just got dressed in the back there in the back. So you get to wear your street clothes, get your hair done, get shaved up and all that. But what this chastity belt does is, if you get found guilty and you try to run or bring harm to anybody, they push this button. And when they push this button, it shocks your private area. Once it shocks your private area, your whole body shut down.
Right.
And trust me, when they shock you, it won't be at least a month before you even get an erection, let alone stop peeing on yourself or stop defecating on yourself because you can't feel it. It has numbed you up. So people know when they put that belt on them, you better not move out that seat. You better not pull your chair back. You better not swing on your attorney, nothing. So when I sat in that courtroom and the judge had me to stand up and they found me guilty, it felt like my soul left that room. Because as I stood there, the first thing I did was look at my attorney because I felt like he dumped me. Because I wrote down a few questions and he never asked them to the witnesses. He never asked the witnesses.
This call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He just kept ignoring them and asked what he wanted to ask, but then he just basically I'm going to say this, a public defender, they just there for the check. You got some that are really trying to help you, but the majority of them, they there for the check. And based on we don't know nothing about the law, you don't know until years later you start to study and you realize he didn't care nothing about you, just there for the check. So if they feel you guilty, they won't tell you, but they'll do certain things to help aid you in your conviction. So when I got found guilty, not only did my soul leave that room, but it's a cold thing. Like, it's a difference between, like I said, seeing somebody in the casket and seeing somebody that just got killed. It's the same thing with receiving a life sentence, because when you got a person in front of you telling you he's taking your life, it's a whole different ball game. Trust me, you'd rather be shot in the face or shot in the back of the head without you knowing it than have somebody stand there and tell you they finna kill you and then send you on your way and you know you're gonna die in prison. That's a cold thing.
OG, can I just
what
pause?
Even hurts more is
OG, I know you in the midst, but can I just ask you? Just go ahead, dog.
Alright. So seeing your family cry and all that, and seeing the victim's family cry, that hurted me too. But I still done the righteous thing was I stood up and I apologized to my victim family for taking their son, their husband, and their daddy's life. I apologized to them and accepted my time and went on my way. And when I got back to the module, it took everything in me not to cry in front of the homies. But that night when everybody was sleeping, they was playing the oldies, I just laid there on my back and shedded a tear because I felt I was never going to see the streets again. So when I got to the pen, every time I would put in some work, nobody never knew, but I stayed on top of the person, whoever I was trying to get, because I wanted the police to shoot me in the back of the head. I didn't want to do the time. I wanted to get shot in the back of the head and just die. I didn't have the courage to take my own life. So I felt like, just shoot me and get it over with. It wasn't until years later that I started meeting certain Crips and certain Bloodz and certain non-affiliates and Mexican and white boys that started taking their time and teaching me things, giving me books to read and giving me something else to focus on instead of worrying about making a knife. That's how angry I was. Because when I came to the pen, that's all I did was make weapons. Because all I thought about was hurting somebody else to get rid of my pain. I was basically having a mental suicidal thought. I wanted to commit suicide, but didn't have the heart to do it. It wasn't until later on I met a Muslim friend of mine named Khalil. He used to be from Avalon Gangster. When I ran across him, me and him started talking, and he was instrumental in getting me into that chapel. And when I started going to the chapel with him, it seemed like every time the imam was preaching, he was talking to me. So I started going more into the chapel, and then we started this group called Hidden University. And what Hidden University did was it gave us a platform to do what we do now, but instead of on the podcast, we were doing it in prison. At that time, I was doing good, so what we would do was we would come together and put money up and buy books like Before the Mayflower and Nat Turner, the ISIS paper, the Black Man Thinketh, and we would take those books and dissect them and put them into homework. Take a chapter and then put a Q&A to it. And we started getting young brothers to come to the chapel, and we would get them to read these books. And at the end of every book, each brother that did all the questionnaires and read the whole book, we would give out prizes. And the prizes would be like, Muslims would put in some oil. I would throw in like $50 worth of canteen or something, and sometimes we'd throw in other things like whatever we could help with. At that time they were smoking, so sometimes we used to throw in a can of tobacco, a jar of coffee, whatever, and get the crowd in there. And in the process,
this call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
This gave me an outlet because I was able to help other Bloodz and Crips do some thinking and become successful in the streets. And a lot of these Bloodz and Crips that's out there now, they could attest that I had a hand in molding them to where they out there still on the streets. They got out. And that's what helped me be born again. It helped me be born again into being a human being. Don't get me wrong, as a lifer, I went through my trials and tribulations too. I went through trials at times where I turned to drugs for help. I turned to drugs, and there was sometimes I turned to drugs, sometimes I turned to alcohol. The last drug that I messed with was a drug called spice. And I quit messing with spice because some of my young homies that got at me with tears in their eyes, and seeing them, how they cared about me instead of them whooping on me, that showed me love. And to those that have drug problems, like other homies, other Bloodz and Crips, when you see your OGs or homies out there on the streets that's doing bad on drugs, try your best to help them. Don't just beat them up. And the reason I say that is because I had a strong support system of Bloodz and Crips around me that wouldn't let me fall apart. They the ones got me back to going outside and working out, and they was on me. Not only the Bloodz and Crips, I had Mexicans on me, I had white boys on me. I even had some police on me, like, come on, BJ, you better than that. You know what I mean? And that brought me back into the person that I am now and able to speak to y'all today. And as I said, that's my story. I hope one day that I can get out there and meet all of y'all personally at a seminar or something, because I would love to help y'all. Y'all that's listening, if y'all ever need help, don't be afraid to hit the homie's Instagram and tell y'all a story. Send a P.O. box or whatever, and I'll write and give y'all some advice. You know what I mean? Just because you're my brother. It don't matter you Blood, Crippin', Mexican, South Side of North Daniel, white boy, don't matter. If you need help, hit me, and if I can help you, I can help you. Now, if you want some help on starting a new gang or how to keep the block hot and all this and that, I'm the wrong person for that. I'm not that person. But if you want some genuine help, I will be there for you and give you some advice and give you somebody to talk to help you keep your head on. Because at the end of the day, your family needs you. Me, I done lost all my family in prison. And by me losing my family, it made me realize that when I killed that young man that day, I killed my family as well. I killed his family, and I killed my family. So therefore, I killed 1,000 people with one bullet. Over what? Over a $2 rag. A rag that the mechanics used to blow boogers on and put cigarette ashes and oil on. I took that rag personally and turned that rag into my God. That's how deep I was into the game. And when I turned that rag into a God, it also had me turning on friends that was close to me. Before I caught this case, I got an older homeboy named Bone, and I got an older homeboy named Calico. Bone and Calico tried their best, and my homie D-Lo, rest in peace, they tried their best to change my lifestyle and keep me out there on the streets. You know, Bone tried to put me in movies and commercials and all that. I didn't listen to him. And it wasn't that I had anything against him. I love my homeboy. The thing was, I was so addicted to coming outside. I was addicted to putting in work. I was addicted to womanizing. I was addicted to using drugs. I was addicted to alcohol, cigarettes. I was addicted to all the things I don't supposed to be doing. So I didn't listen. And before I came to jail, Calico used to tell me every time I seen him so much that I didn't even want to hang with him. He used to, every time he see me, he'd jump in the car with me, and he used to be like, B, you fucking up. B, you fucking up. And I used to drop his ass off because I didn't want to hear that shit. He used to like, B, you backpedaling. You fucking up, B. Come over here with me and do this, B. And I wouldn't listen to him. Now, I appreciate both of them dudes because since I got a life sentence, them the homies that still been there for me. All my homies been there for me. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Some may wasn't there financially, but they was there when I needed an ear, when I was on the edge of doing something.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
To talk me off the edge. So I hope that by y'all listening to this story, y'all don't get put in that position. And if you ever come to prison and you run into me, don't be scared to holler. Just holler. I'm going to show you the same love I showed everybody else. With that peace and blessings, and I'll be back so we can go to Q&A. Much love to all of y'all. I love all of y'all, man. Thank y'all for listening. I'll be right back, homie.
Yeah, homie. It be like that sometime, homie. A lot of homies be out here, homie. Let me see what Tiny Young said. I appreciate you, BJ. Even though you're in your situation, you still inspiration, loved one. On the real, homie. On the real, dog. You know, hey, homie, and we be banged out for this lifestyle. I got a lot of homies that I done bang with in my generation, homie. And they kind of scared straight at me on the reason why I program this way, homie. Because a lot of dudes, like a lot of hoods, want deep, like how you see it now, homie. So you go back into them back in the day times, all my homeboys from my crew damn near gone. I mean, it's a few of us, but everybody caught that time from banging, homie. We was that generation that had to get it in. Some was making it and some was getting cracked, homie. You know? Excuse me real quick. Hey, we back on, loved ones.
Can you hear me, too?
Yeah, Charles T said I felt that.
Yeah, before.
Somebody said I felt that story. The homie Charles T said I felt that story. Deep story. The homie J like that's facts. Twin City like salute. G homie love homie. Love your platform due to the fact I came in late, homie. I started from the beginning, homie. I listen to stuff every day while I'm at work, all the time, homie. BJ. I was telling
Hey,
everybody, homie, a lot of the homies like in my age group and bracket and certain homies, we kind of learned from y'all, homie, and kind of like scared straight us, because even though, some of the homies be behind the wall, they might feel tarnished, feel certain type of ways, homie, but it's still good homies like you, my homie Lil Bugsy, couple homies from Swans, couple homies from Lanes, couple homies from the Sac area. It's different homies that still be getting at us with a good heart, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's steering us like you
right.
told in the story. That like, man, stay out there, cause that's how blood love and how the homies used to bang back in the days, homie. When we was in the module, homies used to be like, dog, take the case, let the homie go home, or bail this particular homie out because he's a hustler, he's a developer, he can take care of things, and we need him out there, homie. So I'm blessed, and the gang of other homies are blessed, and other Crips and everybody. We're blessed, homie, still to have homies in y'all caliber, homie, that know what this came with, but still try to instill in us to be the best we can be, homie. Twin City said,
Right.
BJ, we love you, homie. If you on JPay,
All the
homie,
time.
let
I
me.
love y'all too,
The
homie.
homie said, if you on JPay, let me know, homie. I'ma send you something. What's your info? You can put your info out here if you want to real quick.
Yeah, y'all already know.
I
Just
guess
hit the
your
Instagram, give
CD,
me Instagram and
put your CDC number out there real quick. I guess
huh?
that JPay work through CDC, don't it?
Yeah. You all, those that already know me, y'all should already know my name. My CDC is J11869. If you don't know my name, when you go to JPay, it's gonna say Little Perry. Now I know that's a funny name, but I think my parents, was drinking with the Irish and smoking peyote with the Indians. I don't know how they give a motherfucker 6'4" a little name like that.
Okay, yeah. So we got that lined up. Also, everybody that, you know what I'm saying, tapped in, homie, and donated, it's all love. It's highly appreciated. Me and BJ appreciate it, man. And that's to keep the content going, keep the homie, kind of staying afloat a little bit, things of that nature, homie. So, it's love to everybody that sent something, homie. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't, we already know the intentions is good, and we bless each other when we can, homie. So that, it's nothing, homie, but it's love. It's just straight love, homie. Straight like that, homie. Austin, Texas, Bloodz salute on everything, homie. B's and P's. Hey, BJ, this is what I wanted to ask you, homie. Since we on Q&A, I'ma kick the questions off, homie. Throughout you talking and telling your story on that, homie, it's like when we get out here and we do our thing, get cracking, and the homies that do take a fall like you did, how did you feel about you saying, about the victim, homie? We say about, damn, we got all this time, but what's our feeling about the victim, homie? Do we wish we never got cracking, or do we just be like it was bad timing, homie? What is that feeling, homie?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm wiser than I was that day when my crime happened. And as I'm wiser, I realized that through the education I learned, I feel remorseful, empathy, and I hurt every day because I took another African life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not just his life. It could have been anybody's life I took. I would feel remorse. But based on I'm convicted for killing another brother, that hurted me because, you know, I'm going to say something that I never said in court. When I was in court, this man's wife had the same last name as me. And the first thing I thought is, what if she my auntie, or what if she my cousin or something through some type of relation? And I say that because the Perry name is a rare name, you know, and we come from Texas or Louisiana. So most Perrys that's in California is related to me in some type of way.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
when I saw her last name, I never spoke on it or told anybody, but I'm seeing it now. That bothered me, homie. I was like, man, I might have killed my own cousin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And when we out there, and what I want brothers to understand is, it ain't that I done got soft or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's the fact that when you do your homework, homie, you got to understand that when they brought cocaine to the ghetto, a lot of our family got destroyed through the cocaine era. Meaning, a lot of our parents, aunties, and uncles were smoking, so they separated themselves from the family because they was in a shame. And when they separated themselves from the family, a lot of us that are Bloodz and Crips are related, and we don't even know it, homie. We don't even know it. And we won't know it until we sit up in here in these penitentiaries and we having conversations. That's just like since I've been in jail, sometimes I be talking to little Crips that come on the yard, and we'll be talking, and they'll see my pictures or something, and they'll be like, man, that's my cousin. I'm like, I ain't your cousin, and they'll tell me the whole family name, and then I'll be like, damn, me and you related. And that should be hurting me, because right when they tell me that, all that blood and Crip shit go out the door. I'll be like, man, this is my cousin. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. I'm not going to let nothing happen to him. And then I go into protective mode. So when we out there banging, you got to realize when you're going to put in work, one day you might shoot your favorite auntie's son or something.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got to look at it as the cocaine era also put a lot of babies up for adoption. So that's another way you won't know this person is related to you.
Hey,
You know, this person might be adapted into another family.
Right. Hey, BJ, speaking of that, homie, I got like a mini story on that, homie. And this was like in the 90s, homie. And this particular time, homie, I was in my hood striking up on the wall and shit, right? I'm in the hood striking up the hood, you know, Inglewood neighborhood, Pablo, 500 block. And some dude, he yelled up out a window from somewhere, like, hey, homie, like, you know, like this, like, man, forget all that, like F what you writing, forget all that. Basically, he telling me, like, homie, you know, you writing over here, like, forget all that, like, spray paint. So I'm like, nigga, fuck, you know, F you and this and that. So anyway, I guess he come on out, being like a tough guy and stuff, and he come out with a cannon, homie. But I guess he just came out to kind of like startle me and the homies. But we wind up in our youthful time getting off on dude. You know what I'm saying? When he come out with a thing, we wind up seeing dude, because we already on deck from him just like fat mouthing. And we used to have a thing back in the days called mind your own and you might live long. So when he came out like that and kind of like drew heat, we got off. You know what I'm saying? Block, 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 block. But nobody went to hit dude, but we didn't know what he was gonna do. But anyway, homie, he wound up surviving. He wound up surviving it and all that. But just to go to what you saying, I'm in the county jail one day, and you know how brothers be banging, and we might not be immediate enemies, but it might be a couple Crips and Bloodz, and we talking. So dude get to talking about a story inside the Inglewood NHPs that he got at some dudes spray painting on the wall, and he go to yell out his window and came out with a heat, and they bust that dude. He said he didn't really want to bust back because he stayed there. But he had been busting spreads, looking out for everybody. And like I said, we've been trading these stories, homie. So when he say that story, I'm like, homie, I started laughing. I straight told dude once I found out nobody got hurt or nothing, I'm like, homie, that was me, homie. But that's just to show how small of a world it is. And we be banging, and he was showing love in the dorm and all this. But we just happen to be trading war stories, homie, just cutting it up. And that's just how small it was, homie. And he was telling the story about me, homie. And I had to tell him, homie, just by him showing so much love and breaking bread, I had to keep it clean. Like, dog, that was me, homie. You feel me?
Wow.
Somebody said Big Bone in the building, Blood.
All the time. What's up, boy? Love you, boy.
What's up, Big Bone? A slave name is a personal name. Homie. Go ahead, BJ.
What do you say?
No, I was just somebody else was saying something. A slave name is a personal name given by others to an enslaved person or a name inherited from an enslaved ancestor.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Most of us, that's how we got our name. You know, that's why a lot of dudes, when they came to prison, just on the education note, that's why a lot of dudes, when they came to prison, they changed their name to Zaires and Tapiris and all these other African names because they wanted to reinvigorate themselves with their ancestors.
Right. Peace, love to all. What's happening with you? Thank you for tapping in. Hey, one more question on mine since ain't nobody shooting it. I was tripping off when you was talking in the doing the mini documentary. You was saying a lot of young Crips and a lot of young Bloods that was coming in, homie. You was showing them a lot of love, instilling a lot of love and embracing stuff upon them, homie. Did that have something to do with your deep feeling and compassion towards your crime with trying to revamp some of these young dudes, homie, since you couldn't revamp yourself?
I'm going to keep it real with you, right? I think it was something that was handed down to me inside of me that was already there. And once other Crips embraced me, you know, the real Crips like Black Dog, rest in peace from 111, you know what I mean? Tank from 10 Deuce Raymond, you know what I mean? No much Crips, you know what I mean? Big Superman from A-Trey Gangster, you know, all these dudes that I ran across. Suma from the Grandies, Lebo, a.k.a. the General Simba from Front Hood, all these dudes.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Teaching from OBG, all these dudes embraced me and taught me something. And when they gave me the education, along with the blood homies, the OG blood homies, I did what they asked me to do. When we teach, you pass along to the next brother that's willing to listen.
Right.
Meaning, when a blood and a Crip is willing to listen, he won't, homie. If he not willing to listen, he sleep. If he sleep, let him sleep. If he won't, give him something to feed his brain. And that's what I was doing.
Right. Close us out real quick, BJ.
Yeah, I would like to close this out. I would like to send a shout out to the homie Big Kev Dog from Long Beach, Daytron, Michael and Glenn. We appreciate y'all and everybody else that tuned in. I love all y'all, man, like I said before. I'll let your boy anytime. Peace and blessings, and thank y'all, man. I appreciate all y'all, and I hope y'all love me.
Hey, man. Hey, it's a pleasure that the homie came on here, gave us this rundown. Hope it's a gain of younger homies that heard this podcast message, homie, and you know, think twice, homie, before you go out there and do something, homie. If it ain't really that serious, homie, you know, think twice about it, homie, because every homie ain't successful, homie. You know, look at the penitentiaries, homie. We got homies from down south to up north, from banging this B and this P, homie, that sacrificed off another brother. Then you got Crips that from the south to the north that then sacrificed theirs off another brother. So at the end of the day, homie, we got to think, is it really that serious for us to go out here and pill each other and smoke each other, homie? You know, we kick a lot of these good stories for entertainment purposes, homie. And it's like Vietnam War to a lot of us, homie. If the Americans and Germany and other places can tell these stories about how they drop bombs on one another's and things, homie, and smooth things out and get past life, then we could do it too, homie. 89 on up, G stuff, not ye stuff. And I'm out.